Good?
Good.
Hey guys, so for today's adventure, I've actually travelled a fair way. I'm actually in country Victoria. And my mate Raz,
What up?
who's actually hooked us up with this awesome spot, watched the Dredge video and called me up and he was like, you know what, if you love mining, that bucket dredge that you checked out, I've got the perfect spot for you. And this is exactly where he's brought me to right now. And we're going to go check it out. The Eldorado dredge was built in 1936 and ran up until 1954. Running 24/6, this thing was near 18 years of constant dredging, with Sundays being maintenance days. This bucket ladder looked more like a chainsaw chain than anything, boasting between 110 and 118 buckets. Originally, each bucket weighed between 1.4 and 1.6 tonne. That's not including the 12 cubic feet of earth and water that it actually dredge and lift up through. That's about 339 litres per bucket. 1939 saw the failure in the bucket band, which resulted in having to change the original 200 horsepower motor with an even bigger 320 horsepower motor. This came with more issues though, because the more power put more strain on the bucket band. That resulted in regular downtime. The Argus newspaper compared the huge size of the dredge with Parliament House in Spring Street. It was nearly 100 metres long and nearly 20 metres tall. Unlike the Dorset tin dredge, this was a gold dredge, so it spent more time digging down into the earth than across the embankment. So where the Dorset dredge dug down about 3 or 4 metres across, this thing actually spent more time digging down around 30 metres. So this entire spot here was for a winchman. All these levers and everything actually controlled this whole half of the dredge, the buckets, the winches, the whole lot. They had to work rain, hail or shine. So there's a fire pot here for those really cold mornings and nights. When we get underneath, I can actually show you what all these levers actually controlled. So these levers actually pull, there would have been, I reckon it would have just been metal or something still connected to there. And that actually lifted up that locking mechanism so it could move.
There's one there that's still got the cord connected to it. The back there. Oh. So you've got springs still there. They haven't rusted up. It's crazy.
Yeah. You can just see it between the two.
Yeah, rust. It feels so dodgy. Like it's gonna fall over.
Well, it happens, man.
We can get up in there later.
Whoa. That is terrifying. This entire wall, with all the gauges and readings just behind the winchman bit we were just at, is full of asbestos. That's what these signs are.
The buckets must go up over there.
Yeah.
There'd be a hopper. Through the sluice.
Someone's been in here. Dico 97.
Someone's been in there. If someone's been in there, we can get in there.
So true, man. Let's do it. This is so sketchy.
Scary, isn't it, man? Duck under here.
Far out. That's crazy. Oh. Alright, little doorway. Dodgy wood. Whoa!
Yeah. You can see all the way in there.
These massive turning gears are what helped lift the buckets up, and they've got these on the other side too.
Massive gears.
Oh. It's like a sluice bucket.
Yeah. It's full of dirt. Yeah, it's chock is full of dirt. This grid would have caught all the large stuff so they could just get it out straight away.
So I'm guessing everything would have come up the buckets that are over there. Would it have been passed through those pipes into here, you reckon? Or was that just for water?
Look.
I reckon that might have been for sorting.
So there's nothing else connecting these two together. Oh, there's a ladder there. Awesome.
Far out. This is directly behind where we just were.
No, dumpster elements here. That chute goes down through this big pipe here. Probably into these pumps.
That's down the line where all the dredging buckets, so they're dredging into the embankment down there, coming up here, throwing it into there somewhere.
Yep, and that's straight down there.
Ah, yep, I see. So it's all falling down there, so the overflowing buckets are coming up, dropping it down there, and that's going into that big pipe there. So this was the rotating screen, or sieve for lack of a better term. So it would rotate, and everything that was passing through, all the heavy metals, tin and gold, would actually fall through the tiny little holes that you can see into little traps, which would then run it down into where Raz is about to explain. All the other heavy stuff, bigger rocks, material, all that sort of crap, would shoot straight out to the back, and they had different sizes for the chutes for different size material running out the back. massive amounts of water was actually used to help push everything through and throw all the rubbish and everything back out into the creek where it was just dredging from. Down the bottom is the golden tin recovery.
Say that again, I wasn't recording. Alright, go.
So your material would fall down through all of these chutes that you can see.
Yeah, I can see it,
Yep, and they would enter into all these buckets, and all these piston arrays would go up and down and slam all of the rocks and stuff and crush them up into smaller material, which would then fall down into a sluice, which would probably be underneath here somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. There'd be heaps of water pumping down that sluice to trap all the gold.
So the reason that we came here, the reason Raz wanted to bring me here is because the Dorset dredge that we did the first video on, you can't see any of this. It would have been a very similar setup to how the Dorset dredge was, because when these miners back in the day were mining for gold or whatever material they were actually mining for, it wasn't just dedicated to anyone. They dug up heaps of different materials. So they dug up tin, they dug up gold and all other sorts of minerals and such. So this is basically what it would have been similar to looking like in the Dorset dredge. Of course. Wouldn't be abandoned if it didn't have crappy spray paint everywhere. Spray paint, it doesn't annoy me so much if the art's good, like a lot of it is around Melbourne, but this stuff just sucks. So this is one of those sluicing chutes that Raz was talking about, where all the stuff would actually fall down to. I just keep thinking of just all the old school dudes back in the day just
Working.
when this was in full effect.
Yeah, actually like working. Does it make so much noise too?
Oh yeah,
That's
they
still,
were
like-
so loud, they just thumped. And because it was so slow, the buckets would dig so slow. On top of the noise of the rotating screen constantly going, and the 14 independent motors to help run the buckets up, this thing could be heard from up to 20 kilometers away. It bellowed. Workers remember when this thing actually did stop, the silence was deafening. I reckon that was.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I know on the Dorset dredge they had random holes like that with just planks of wood across with a hole where they use as a toilet.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. So you can actually see the bottom. So this is the bottom of all those pistons. The rocks would have all come down through here into this thing. This would be your sluice. That probably goes.
Yeah, so they're all coming down into one.
Yep, each of those. So there'd be a sorting system with different sized holes
Yep.
for everything to drop down.
Those pipes there would have carried all the water through.
Yep.
Because without water, this thing doesn't run.
That's right.
Needs all the water to actually help separate all the metals and rubbish and crap. See, just all these channels sluicing going down.
And And there's actually a secondary crusher here, which would crush it down into even smaller.
Down there.
Yeah. We're at water level now, so there's no further. You can't go any further down than this.
Yep. Where the hell did that come from?
It's a good question.
Massive log. Size comparison, that thing is freaking huge.
It's massive.
What?
Oh man, this place is so cool. Compared to the rest of it.
They're almost like little Phillip head screws too. Old switch. Light switch?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, there's lights up there.
I can't imagine they need electricity for much else. Not unless there's those massive.
So I'm going to say, at a guess, this would have been a big transformer that would have probably powered this whole thing.
Do you reckon it would have been diesel or something? Where's the
It must have been.
generator? It would have been coal or diesel. Yeah, I reckon diesel over anything to power something like this.
So something that I didn't actually touch on with the Dorset dredge. I mentioned that there was about 30-40 employees that actually worked on the dredge. There's actually a lot of people that would work out in front of the dredge and move all the sticks and try to dig away all the sticks and twigs and all the roots and stuff so that it wasn't constantly digging that up, because these things did muck up and play up at times. And when these things stopped and downtime, it caused a lot of headaches to actually try and fix it. So there was probably up to 12 people. I've seen pictures on the Dorset dredge just in front of it, just clearing stuff away with the shovels and hose and whatnot.
You don't want wood and stuff going into those sluices.
No.
Huge rocks and things.
That was for the Dorset dredge though. I'm not sure how many these guys employed, obviously different setup.
It's like the first sign of human utilities I've seen since we've been here. The shelving. Everything else has been for the machine.
Oh, so they were passing something through here.
Yeah.
I want to know how this got here.
Nah, man. You'll never know. Nah, that was not. We came here. It's aliens, man. Aliens.
There's actually, like, there's no way. They haven't brought it through. They haven't brought it through anywhere.
No, that's right. It's right there.
There's no way. They're coming back to this one. Because it's annoying me. There is no way for this to even get in here. It's just not. It's actually broken here.
Yeah, it smashed it down, so it's come down.
It's come down, but there's nowhere for it to come down. It's bent that pole, but where? The windows aren't big enough. And way too high. The water has not come up that high. It can't have.
This is actually falling down on top of it as well. And it's proper wedged in here. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, I had to film this.
You know
because
what?
there's no way.
I reckon
Here we go.
it's come under here and it's got underwater, and as it's came here, it's popped up like.
Ah, yeah, actually. That'd make sense for it to be broken there.
Yeah. That's the only explanation I can come up with. It's popped up out of the water, and the force has just pushed up on top of everything.
We had a mystery and we may have solved it.
Everything's a bit too. Depends on how buoyant it is. But I mean, maybe not.
Don't say that.
The angle.
I'm happy with that answer. That's how it happened.
You can see the.
Yeah, you're right. There's stairs here too, so it definitely the water's come up.
Yeah, it's shit floating on top of that water too. Tits! Woo!
And that is basically the big rubbish chute.
Yep, straight out the back. Just all the huge stuff we can't fit in the
Yep.
the dredge, just go straight out the back. Useless.
I wonder where it come from though, because that all looks like it's been closed in. Because the way these things work, it like dredges its way around
Yeah,
like
that's
a
right.
big boat.
Yeah.
But I can't see any clearings where it's actually come from. It's like it's just
And they're probably dug down with those holes that I was telling you about before, found some gold and just put the
yeah.
dredge over it and just. And this might have filled up with water after the fact. No, because they'd have to get the water from somewhere. That's how dredges need a shitload of water in order to work.
yeah.
I don't know, man.
They usually have. Oh, there's
Maybe it's just through that tree.
Can't think of it. There are dams and stuff that they make, and they channel the water down sometimes for
There are
kilometers.
dams around here.
Yep.
There are dams around here. I remember reading it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for kilometers as well.
Yeah.
And if there's any openings, they'll actually build like metal freaking bridges almost just for the water to travel through. For
Yeah,
these
right.
things.
Like channels.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called, but this dredge was built and assembled on site, so right here. It's never moved from this man-made creek.
I didn't know about that one.
Nah. Oh, there's heaps. There's like 3 on top of each other.
Yeah, sizing probably.
Just down the left-hand side of it, looking from back to front. So now we're going to go check out the right-hand side. Oh, spider webs. Add to the creek factor.
That's all falling off the bottom of this.
Yep.
There's that big motor.
Massive ladder.
Shit.
Oh yeah. Well, watch where you're treading. You trip over that. Yeah, so it's starting to go under a tiny bit because there's handrails there.
Yeah, it's sinking down this way.
So it seems like this is sort of going on a lean like the Dorset dredge, and maybe this will go one day.
Yeah.
This whole area is pretty much underneath where the touristy bit is, as far as you can go there. And I'm pretty sure this is where all the levers and stuff go to, all these motors down here. Yeah,
That's where we were up to.
full circle. This is where we were the other side. This is where Bobo's torch would have been handy because it goes right out. And then we hit water.
I don't know what those asbestos warning signs are about. I haven't seen any.
Mr. Pritchard's mother, Joan Pritchard, moved to Eldorado in 1935. Her father, Bill, had secured a job working with horses to clear land for the dredge to work. He then served as a night watchman guarding the dredge from any troublemakers. It was only once that hoodlums tried to get on the boat. Mrs. Pritchard said she remembered one man tragically died near the dredge. The worker was on a boat about to board when a bank collapsed. He came up in one of the buckets, just as if he was sitting in a lounge chair. It was a real moonlight and eerie feeling. But that was the only death associated with the dredge while it operated until 1954. It just seems like an unnecessary risk.
Yep.
It's something that we've already basically got the view of on the roof.
Yeah.
Shards. Over the 18-year lifetime that this dredge was actually in use, it produced over 70,000 ounces of gold valued at $750,000. To put that in perspective for you, that's around 2 tonne of gold valued today at about $28 million. During that time, there was just under 1.5 tonne of tin that was dredged up.
Not unless you climb over the roof.
Oh yeah, we can do that. No, this is good. I keep missing it. It keeps giving me information on this thing, how it works, and I keep missing it. Alright.
It's actually got a hook at the bottom, so that whole platform would go along these rails on those gear wheels. And we go over the top of this hopper and pull things out, possibly with the winch. Maybe when things get stuck in there.
Oh yeah, big branches and stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a wheel up there, which is probably used to actually move the thing. Yeah.
I don't know, but that's a long way down.
And I am not game.
Nope. Oh, moving parts, amazing.
Oh, which part?
It's just when it moves.
Woo! I'll take it. It's a win. Oh, this is going to be a edit.
Yeah, man. A lot of footage. Get this shot.
It's so good. That's the best thing about Adventure Zone. we get so carried away, and Raz was having so much fun, he forgot to get his own camera out and get some footage and photos. Alright. Looks like it's getting on a bit, so we might have to skedaddle.
Set up the rest of the camp in some daylight.
Yep.
Get a fire going and cook some dinner. Man, this is oven, not oven, fucking
Oven.
whatever. Called heater.
Ah, yeah, there. So that's the control room, and that's where the chimney is.
How's that?
Crazy. And I didn't rip my pants for once.
Amazing.
Thanks, man. Little window. It's not glass, it's like Perspex.
Yeah,
Standard.
someone's put it there afterwards. This is all new here.
It's been broken.
Stop people from jumping off it.